My name is Aria Lennox, and I'm 29. I was halfway through a desk lunch salad when my feed punched me in the throat. There he was, Lucas, 27, chin tilted into golden hour, leaning on my 2019 BMW M3, key fob dangling between two fingers like a trophy. The caption was a parade of delusion. Finally manifested my dream car. Hard work pays off, kings. Hashtag boss mode. Hashtag BMW life. Comments avalanched. You did it, bro. Rides this weekend? Levels unlocked. Sloan, his ex, dropped 3 fire emojis and a proud of you. I didn't comment, didn't like, didn't breathe for a beat. 18 months ago, I wired $52,000 to a dealer and drove this car home new. Title in my name, insurance in my name, registration in my name, or apparently not. I dialed DMV and listened to hold music that sounded like fluorescent lights. 37 minutes, yes, I counted, before a polite voice said, "Viens, please." I read it off, knuckles whitening on a plastic fork. One moment. The vehicle is registered to Lucas Harlow. Cold. Everywhere. Since when? Transfer completed last Monday. Last Monday, I was across the country at a conference. Lucas had texted he was too sick to pick me up from the airport. I never authorized a transfer, I said, every word clipped. I never signed anything. We have signed documents on file, she replied. If you believe this is fraudulent, you'll need to file a police report. I hung up, opened my banking app, car paid in full, thank God, then opened Instagram again with surgeon's hands. Screen record on, his story at brunch, my key fob on the table, him talking about leveling up and cutting dead weight. Kelsey framed the shot. 2 other friends whooped. The algorithm hummed, a chorus for thieves. I didn't text Lucas. I didn't text anyone. I opened a folder titled Car, Original Docs, took photos of the bill of sale, title, insurance, and the email threads. Then I called the non-emergency line and said the words, I need to report a stolen vehicle obtained through fraudulent title transfer. 3 hours later, Detective Hayward stood in my living room in a navy sport coat that had seen 100 other people's worst days. I slid a neat stack across the coffee table. Original purchase, proof of payment, insurance, screenshots of his posts, his texts asking to borrow the car after the date he supposedly owned it, I said. Also the DMV call screenshot, date stamped. He thumbed through each page, eyebrows narrowing at the Instagram clips. We'll pull the DMV packet and the notary imprint, he said. If it's what I think it is, we're talking felony forgery and grand theft auto. The car's value pushes this into serious territory. What happens now? I asked. Bolo goes out on the vehicle, he said. When we find it, he's getting cuffed. In the meantime, don't engage. Don't tip him off. Keep everything. Keep everything. That I could do. When he left, the apartment hummed with the sound you only notice when a person has taken up too much space for too long, the sound of air returning. I pulled the underbed suitcase and started packing Lucas's life into boxes. His hoodies, 2 pairs of limited edition sneakers, cologne that smelled like a nightclub, and regret. His documents weren't in his drawer anymore. My filing cabinet had a gap where the car folder once lived. I labeled the boxes garage. I didn't cry. I did open his last text to me from the conference. Miss you. Imagine our empire when we're married. I closed it and imagined my empire with locked doors. The next morning, Lucas posted a boomerang of the tachometer revving. Breakfast with the beast. Sloan dropped. He always wanted this. A woman I didn't recognize commented, King energy. I saved everything. By day 2, my phone lit up with Lucas's messages, dim with the kind of charm that has a timer on it. Lucas, hey, been thinking. Maybe we rushed space. Can we talk? Lucas, I get you were mad I needed time. I'm ready to work through it. Lucas, at least respond. I forwarded each one to Detective Hayward and kept my own replies at 0. His mother, Diane, commented under the car photo, So proud of you, baby. You've worked so hard. I stared at the screen until my face felt still. Work is a word, I thought. It usually means labor, not larceny. At dinner, Megan called, You okay? I'm organized, I said. That's your superhero voice, she said. You're scaring me in a good way. On day 3, Hayward called. Got the DMV transfer packet, he said. Signature isn't even close to yours. And the notary stamp? Fake. Bought online. We've confirmed the seller. We're drafting charges. I exhaled, something between relief and fury. What now? We wait for the traffic gods, he said. He's not subtle, Arya. He's broadcasting possession. He'll get pulled for something minor, and we'll be ready. I looked at the frozen frame of Lucas, thumb on start-stop, friends reflected in the gloss of my dashboard. Broadcasting possession. That was his favorite game. I scrolled back to a story from brunch, paused on Sloane's face caught in a mirror behind him. Loyal ex hyping every lie, because it felt like proximity to power. I made a silent note. People flip when the truth costs them less than the lie. On day 4, he posted a carousel. Him, the car, Kelsey hanging out the window, wind and bass, and teeth. The last slide was a quote card. If you want it, take it. Closed mouths don't get fed. I closed the app and opened the folder labeled Evidence, Live Links. A small, furious peace settled in my bones. I didn't need to argue with his fantasy. I just needed to keep the tape rolling. By the next Thursday, I had learned the sound of my own restraint. It's quiet, measured breaths, scrolling thumbs, screenshots saved to a folder named with today's date. Detective Hayward texted at 11:12 a.m. Bolo active. Sit tight. He'll pop. I was logging bugs when Kelsey's username floated to the top of my suggested stories. Live badge. Pulsing like a heartbeat. Habit or fate, my thumb tapped. Sun-scorched windshield. Bass rattling. Laughter strobing in fragments. The camera swung from the passenger seat to the driver. Lucas in aviators, forearm flexed on my steering wheel. The Watch M badge, a tiny, infuriating jewel. 2 girls in the back sang off key. Kelsey narrated like a travel vlogger. Beach day with the new whip. Tell them what you manifested, King. Lucas tilted the phone just enough to catch his jawline and the dash. When you want it, you take it, he said. Closed mouths don't get fed. The comment stream avalanched. King, she mad now. Pick me up later. Among the hearts and fire, Sloane popped up. Proud of you. Don't let anyone dim your shine. At 11:23, the frame jittered. A flash of red and blue washed the leather. Kelsey laughed, uneasy. Are we getting pulled? Backseat girl. We weren't even speeding. The bass clicked off. The cabin filled with breath and the faint whine of sirens settling behind them. The camera angled down to the cup holders. Lucas whispered, It's fine, in a voice I knew too well, the one he used when the check was already bouncing. He rolled down the window. The world narrowed to the rectangle in my hand. Afternoon, the officer said, calm like people who carry consequences for a living. License and registration, please. Lucas handed over his license and a crisp registration card. My VIN, his name. What's the issue, officer? We're just headed to the beach. One moment. The officer stepped back. A second cruiser idled behind, lights painting the asphalt. Kelsey lifted the phone to her lips. We live for the drama, she giggled, trying on bravery. A second officer approached the passenger side. Ma'am, could you stop recording and keep your hands visible? It's my First Amendment right, Kelsey said, emboldened. The chat exploded. Know your rights. Don't let them. Get badge numbers. The first officer returned, posture different now. No small talk. Ma'am, he said to Lucas, step out of the vehicle, please. What? Why? Lucas's laugh cracked at the edges. Step out of the vehicle. The tone left no air. The camera wobbled. Door chimes sang. The live stream caught fragments. Sun glare, asphalt sparkle. Lucas's sneakers in the frame, a shadow of cuffs gleaming like punctuation. Kelsey's breathing quickened. This is harassment, she announced to the internet. We weren't doing anything. The officer's voice, firm and bored. You are under arrest for grand theft, auto, and forgery. Lucas's answer tore out of the wind. This is my car. I have the registration. The registration you obtained fraudulently. Paper rustled on the hood. The owner reported this vehicle stolen. For a beat, everything went silent the way rooms do when truth walks in. Then Lucas said a sentence I will remember the rest of my life, ridiculous and devastating. Just because she dumped me. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. My phone was a courtroom. The comment stream gasped as one. He admitted it. Kelsey whimpered, We're recording everything. This is going on Instagram. The second officer replied, Ma'am, you'll need to find alternate transportation. The frame tilted to sky, then abruptly cut to the shoulder. Sun-struck asphalt, 3 girls clustered at the guardrail, mascara glossed, hair in their eyes. Sirens keened in the near distance. In the far corner, in soft bokeh, Lucas stood cuffed, jaw working, a man surprised that paper cuts can become blade wounds. Kelsey kept filming. "We need an Uber," she said to 600 live viewers. The chat turned on itself. "Call a lawyer. Girl, he stole it. Free Lucas. Y'all really thought manifesting meant fraud?" One user wrote, "If it's his car, why did he say, 'she dumped me'?" Another, "Possession is not 9/10 when the other 1/10 is a felony." The live ended with a jittering shot of a rideshare pulling up in the car, my car, being winched toward a tow. I didn't exhale until my phone vibrated with Hayward. "Bolo hit confirmed," he said. "Traffic stop turned into the arrest. We're impounding the vehicle. You'll get it back after evidence processing." "A live stream," I said, voice strange in my own ears. He did it on a live stream. In the background, Hayward almost sighed a laugh. "You'd be amazed how many cases Instagram prosecutes for us." I stared at the black rectangle of my monitor until it reflected my face back like a witness. "What about the registration?" "Fake notary," Hayward said. "No contest. We already have the stamp source and your real signature files. Sit tight. And Aria, good job keeping a clean record. Judges like quiet victims." Quiet victims. The phrase slid through me like a key in the right lock. The next hour was a symphony of other people's urgency. My phone lit up with numbers I hadn't saved and names I didn't want. Diane, his mother, called 15 times, then I answered the 16th because curiosity is a muscle too. "How dare you have my son arrested over a car," she spat, grief and entitlement braided tight. "He stole my car, Diane," I said, keeping my voice low. "He forged my signature and used a fake notary to transfer my title. That is not a breakup, that is a felony." She paused, regrouping. "He told me you gave it to him," she said, like a magician revealing a handkerchief. "Then explain the text where he asked to borrow it last week," I said. "Why borrow your own car?" "You're vindictive," she whispered. "You're ruining his life." "He ruined his own life when he committed crimes," I replied, and we both hung up because there was nowhere else for that conversation to go. Kelsey blew up my DMs. "You weren't even using it. Why couldn't you let him have it?" I typed. "Because I bought it. Because theft isn't a love language." Then deleted it and sent nothing. I screenshotted her message and dropped it into evidence. Contacts. Mutual friends slotted themselves into sides as if there were teams to choose. Becca pinged. "She's really sorry. Can't you drop the charges? She'll give it back." Hayward's advice replayed. "Don't engage. Don't instruct them." I sent her exactly one line. "It's the state's case, not mine." Then muted her thread. A mercy for us both. At 3:45 p.m., a text from an unknown number arrived, like a bad idea with a backwards hat. Unknown. "Yo, this is Harper. I'm with Lucas now." Unknown. "He made a mistake. He's broken up about it. Can't you just let it go?" I stared. The name was new. The arrogance wasn't. My skin went cold in that electric way it does before lightning. Me. New girlfriend calling from his phone to discuss an active case is a no-contact violation. Nothing. Then the typing bubble, then nothing again. I forwarded the screenshots to Hayward with a single word. Violation. His reply came back fast. On it. What followed was a blur I only learned in detail later. Officers at Lucas's apartment, Harper opening the door with deer-wide eyes, Lucas insisting she'd called me without his knowledge while holding the phone she'd just used. Bail revoked. He went back in. The judge would later set a higher number and a warning. "One more misstep, Mr. Harlow, and you will wait for trial in custody." That night, Diane showed up at my building like grief in heels. Through the lobby glass, she lifted both palms in supplication. I walked down to meet her because I wanted to look the story in the eyes. She started in the doorway, voice too bright. "Aria, please. He's learned his lesson. This is destroying our family." "He stole from me," I said. "He committed multiple felonies." "He's just a boy who made a mistake." "He's 27, I said. "He forged legal documents. That's not a mistake, that's a plan." Her knees gave a little. She clutched her purse like a rosary. "The lawyer says 2 to 5 years. Please tell them you gave him permission." "You're asking me to perjure myself," I said softly. "I won't do that. I won't be another person who teaches him the rules don't apply." She sobbed once, a sharp sound that felt like something inside her tore, then spun and left. I stood in the lobby and watched the automatic doors close on the echo. The security guard looked at me with quiet kindness. "You okay, miss?" he asked. "I will be," I said, "and I meant it the way you mean a promise you finally earned." A week later came the preliminary hearing. The courtroom smelled like old paper and fear. Lucas sat at the defense table, orange jail shirt unrehearsed on his shoulders, jaw set in that proud line that once charmed servers into extra sauces. Diane dabbed her eyes in the gallery. A man who looked like an older, tired version of Lucas, Robert, stared at the table like it could answer back. The prosecutor called Detective Hayward, who laid out the spine of the case. Then the DMV clerk explained the fake notary. The state's handwriting expert testified that the signature was amateurish at best. The prosecutor clicked to a slide. Instagram posts, carousel upon carousel of Lucas with my car, captions about manifestation and hard work. The judge's eyebrows rose a quarter inch. The courtroom murmured when the live stream clip played, "Just because she dumped me." The sound landed like a gavel. Then the prosecutor summoned a witness who surprised even me, Kelsey. She'd flipped, her voice small, trading the group's bravado for self-preservation. She read texts out loud. Kelsey: "Are you sure this will work?" Lucas: "DMV doesn't verify signatures. It's easy." Kelsey: "What if Aria finds out?" Lucas: "She won't. And even if she does, possession is 9/10 of the law." Kelsey: "That's not how it works." Lucas: "LOL, whatever. She owes me anyway. I've been her boyfriend for 2 years. I deserve something." The prosecutor walked through search history from Lucas's laptop. How to forge signature, penalty for forging car title. Can you go to jail for stealing girlfriend's car? The jurors in waiting exchanged the universal look of, "Oh, honey." Lucas's lawyer tried the romance defense. A misunderstanding between intimate partners, implied permission. The judge didn't laugh, but the silence felt like a smile. "Counselor," she said, "implied permission to use a vehicle does not extend to fraudulently transferring title. Probable cause is established." Gavel, bound over for trial. On the way out, a man stepped into my path. Robert. Up close, his eyes were tired and clean. "Ms. Lennox," he said, voice low, "I'm sorry." "Thank you," I said, surprised at the warmth threading the words. "We gave him everything," he said, like a confession. "Never let him face consequences. That's on us." He glanced toward Diane, then back at me. "I'm paying your legal fees. Already spoke to your attorney." "You don't have to." "I do," he said. "Maybe if we'd said no sooner, none of us would be here." I stepped into the January light, colder and brighter than it had any right to be. My phone vibrated. Hayward. "Nice work staying steady. Car release soon." In the glass of the courthouse door, I caught my reflection. No fire, no triumph. Just a woman who had chosen paper over panic, silence over spectacle, consequences over convenience. Somewhere online, Sloan posted a black square with white text, "Patterns have consequences." The comments split, as they always do, but it didn't matter anymore. Instagram had given him applause. Paper gave me truth, and the law gave me back my car. 2 months later, the storm finally broke. It didn't crash. It deflated. The morning of the sentencing, the courthouse was quieter than I expected. No reporters, no gawkers, just the low hum of the vending machine and the sharp click of the bailiff's pen. Detective Hayward nodded when he saw me. "He's taking the deal," he said. "Saves everyone the spectacle." I just nodded. I hadn't come for revenge. I'd come for closure. Inside, Lucas stood at the defendant's table in the same orange jumpsuit I'd seen last time. But this time, the defiance was gone. The arrogance, too. All that was left was something smaller, like the outline of a person who'd run out of versions of himself to perform. The prosecutor read the plea. The defendant pleads guilty to second-degree grand theft auto, forgery, and identity theft. 18 months suspended to 6 with good behavior. 3 years probation. $5,000 in fines, restitution for the victim's legal costs, and 200 hours of community service. When the judge asked if he understood, Lucas said, "Yes, Your Honor," but his voice cracked halfway through. I didn't smile. Justice doesn't need applause. The judge glanced at me, her tone softening. Ms. Lennox, thank you for your patience. Your documentation was exemplary. You made our job easy. For a moment, the words didn't register. Then they did, and I felt something I hadn't in months. Safety. Diane sobbed into a tissue in the back row. Robert sat still, like a man watching a film he'd seen before but could never stop. When the gavel fell, I felt the vibration in my ribs. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like the end of noise. Later that afternoon, I got a call I didn't expect. Ms. Lennox? Speaking. This is Robert Harlow. His voice was gravel and regret. I wanted to apologize for all of it. You don't owe me that, I said. I do, he replied. We gave him everything he wanted his whole life, except accountability. We thought love was protecting him from consequences. Turns out it's the opposite. There was a pause. Then, I have sent a check to your lawyer for your legal costs. It's the least we can do. I wanted to argue, to say it wasn't necessary. But it was. Not the money, the ownership. The first true accountability that family had ever paid. Thank you, I said quietly. Meanwhile, online, the chaos sputtered. Lucas's friends had tried to start a #FreeLucas campaign that went nowhere. Kelsey deleted her entire account. Sloan, his ex, posted a single cryptic story. Sometimes you can't save someone from themselves. Patterns repeat until someone refuses to play. She didn't tag him, but she didn't have to. The rest of the comments were divided between denial and exhaustion. He just made a mistake. He literally forged papers. Manifestation doesn't mean theft, babes. Even Diane's Facebook went dark after a few weeks. When my car was finally released from impound, Hayward met me in the parking lot with a grin. There she is, he said, patting the hood. The BMW gleamed under the noon sun. Same steel gray finish, same growl when I turned the key. It still smelled faintly like Lucas's cologne, but it was faint enough to lose in the wind. Hayward handed me a clipboard. Sign here for release, and maybe invest in a GPS tracker. Already bought one, I said. And a kill switch, he chuckled. You've learned. I've evolved, I replied. As I pulled out of the lot, a wave of déjà vu hit me. This same steering wheel, these same seats, except now there was no tension in my shoulders, no second guessing, no waiting for another shoe to drop. Every red light on the drive home felt like punctuation. Stop, breathe, continue. 2 weeks later, Megan texted, Thanksgiving at Mom's this year. You bringing anyone or just the BMW? Just the BMW, I replied. It's the only relationship that's never lied to me. She sent back a string of laughing emojis and one final message. Proud of you, sis. Seriously, you didn't just get your car back, you got you back. 4 months passed. Lucas got out early for good behavior. I didn't think about it until the day I got a LinkedIn notification. Lucas Harlow viewed your profile. Of course he did. An hour later, Sloan viewed it too. Curious, I checked his page. Under experience, he'd listed personal sabbatical, focused on growth and self-discovery. I closed the app and laughed out loud in my office. The entitlement really did survive everything. Sometimes people ask if I regret pressing charges, if I regret ruining his future. I tell them this. He ruined his own future when he decided what was mine was his, when he decided love meant ownership, when he chose paperwork over honesty. I don't regret holding him accountable. I regret ignoring the smaller red flags that got me there, the jokes about our money, the way he said, what's yours is mine, like it was charm, not warning. Now, when I see those patterns, I don't wait for proof. I believe the first tremor before the earthquake. Sometimes I still drive the long way home. Windows down, city lights flickering across the hood, engine humming like a heartbeat that finally belongs to me again. Every time I hit a stoplight, I whisper it once under my breath, like a prayer and a promise both. I bought this, I earned this, it's mine. And this time, no one can forge that.